Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a great Monday. So, I decided to do a video post and so I can put it up on my channel too. And I know this is for part 2 of the nodal theme that we're doing for this month in the group Intuitive Human Design, for those that might be watching this from YouTube. Anyways, we're talking about the nodes in human design and also touching a little bit on it from astrology, as I mentioned in the post that I did before that we move from the south node into the node around the time of our Uranus return. I have my notes, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So I wanted to share this week about it in how like as we do, the Uranus return and how the nodes start playing out, but also, and this all from a human design perspective, but also the Chiron return. So I know that 6-line profiles, of course, they all have the tripart life for Chiron return. And for the rest of us, it's at the Uranus opposition. But even for the 6 lines, that changing of the nodal aspect, of course, I do feel is probably being felt around the Uranus opposition. Actually, for anyone with a 6 line, they can feel their Chiron return, and especially in the nodes, 3.5 years before. I'll just say a little caveat. I can see where the 3rd line also has a tripart life, although a little different than the 6 lines. And so I'll be sharing my experience as a 3rd line profile, in that I did start feeling my Chiron return 3.5 years exactly before my Chiron return, which happens this summer. In the nodes especially. And so I thought that was so crazy, and being able to just see that. But even in the Uranus opposition, when you're looking at what the nodal environment is in that, you can also see if that resonates, if you're seeing that in your environment as well. But getting to our natal north and south node, or south and north node, we're the environment that we are in during the south node period is going to be those things that we see in our environment, not necessarily felt as personally as like the profile, or the sun and earth in our chart. So that's more personal, whereas the nodal axis is going to show the environment, what we're seeing in our environment, how we're taking that in. So when we look at those, and I realize that some are going to have the design nodes be different than the personality nodes. And so for right now, we are only looking at the personality nodes. Now, there are 32 nodal environments in human design, and looking at them from in a whole, we can also tap into, like, I do anyways, the astrological way of looking at them. So I can only go based off my experience, so I will share what I have seen for myself. I happen to have a north and south node in the 9th and 3rd house axis. So I have my south node in my 3rd house, which is in Leo. And then I have my north node in Aquarius in the 9th house. And then in my human design, I have it in gate 31 is where my south node is, and gate 41 is where my north node is. So I can definitely say that in my experience and looking back over my life, that the South Node, which is about influence in the gate 31, I have seen that in my life growing up. And then whether it's me being influenced or others being influenced, being around me, but generally it's the influence and the environment that I have received. Not that all of it's good, most of it's been pretty darn good, but I have had and allowed some, not so healthy influence in my life. And I am a third line after all. So when my Uranus opposition happened, though, and I in looking back at that and seeing what my North Node represents, oh my gosh, it was such a huge aha. Like, so I have my North Node in the 41, which is decrease. It's also the start codon in human design and gene keys. It's the beginning of the experiential way, that circuitry. And it's about starting a new experience, about fantasizing, imagining a new experience and that you want to start. Reaching out to the 30, that desire to start that new experience. So I have mine in line 4 of correction. And that is when through decrease, that will bring my correction, basically, in a nutshell. So if I had increase, if I had everything I needed, and if I were comfortable, I wouldn't even consider correcting myself. I would have just stayed the way that I was. I'd have no reason to even change because I was comfortable. But because of the decrease that I've experienced, man, talk about growth. It hasn't been easy. And, in hindsight, looking back, of course, I have a lot of sensing or not a lot. I do have some sensing circuitry, though. And so a lot of times it's about looking in the past. And then, oh, yeah, that's why I'm having that experience, or, what have you. So in looking at that this week, yeah, it was just really, it's been very encouraging, or even longer than this week, I should say. It's been very encouraging because it's like through this decrease that I have had in my life, I have been able to grow a lot more than what I would have had I not had that. And I'm very thankful for that as well. Now, it doesn't mean that the decrease is going to be there forever, because also in my Uranus opposition, I have other aspects that show other things, of course. And a lot of that, I needed to correct what had gone awry in my early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. And I had gotten sick and ended up with fibromyalgia and disabled and couldn't do anything really. And is what it is. I've been correcting that for the last going on 7 years now, and it's been a true blessing. And especially in these last 2 years, since I've really been doing the human design, really deep diving for a year, has really helped me to even see that a lot more. And I do also have the gate 55. And so tapping back into that abundant spirit that I have within myself, and my faith, and trusting that all is well no matter what kind of chaos is going on outside of me. Gate 636, my mutation in Mars, I love it. So I see all these things playing out, and I happen to have my conscious moon in the gate 55, and of course the moon is very personal. So let me look over my notes real quick, see if there was anything else. No, not that I could see there. So I'm curious, what are your nodes? What are you seeing? What transition are you going through? Are you going through a Saturn return? Are you going through Uranus opposition, a Chiron return, maybe a second Saturn return? And these all kind of, it just moves from one to the next, to the next, to the next. So it's not like you have one and then a year later that's done with. Sometimes it takes us years to get to where we need to be. I have been working on that correction for the last 5 years since I had my Uranus opposition. 5 years ago. So it's been a challenge, but through that challenge, I got to experience what I needed to experience so that then I can share that with others and what didn't work, in hopes that to offer a solution of what does work, or to just encourage you that things are going to change, and that you are going to be able to step into who you truly are when you're ready. Anyways, thank you very much for watching today. I know today is the full moon, so happy full moon to everybody, and have a wonderful week. Bless you. Thank you.